Title Update 2 has been out for a month now, and I gotta say, I'm loving it even more. With Holiday 2, we've got a new event quest, weapon adjustments for several weapons, improved stability for the Steam version. It's helped me, but not everybody else. There's still a lot of instability out there. But also, finally, they've added layered weapons. And of course, they've added two former flagship monsters in both of Legiacris, Laggy, and Sergios, aka Steve. Both Lagging and Steve have helped the biggest criticisms that Waltz faced the past few months, which is the game is just too easy. Both the fights have made the difficulty raised, and they both just are way harder than earlier monsters. Steve is a bleeding machine. It chips away your health if you're not careful and you're just moving and doing your attacks and you have the 4 level bleed. And if you don't have jerky or rations to clear that bleed, you're gonna die from just that alone. Not to mention, he hits really hard and his attacks are pretty fast and crazy. He's got multiple sweeping attacks that go all over the place, and when you think you're safe, somehow his legs and or his tail will just knock you off your feet. Laggy, on the other hand, he just hits like a truck already, and his lightning attacks make him hit even harder. And not to mention, 2 of his big lightning attacks hit you multiple times. So technically, if you're able to counter with foresight with a longsword or guard it with any weapon that guards, if you're not careful, it will hit you multiple times and your stamina will go all the way down and you'll take damage. And or even if you are blocking, you're still going to take damage because technically lightning's all around you. And it does seem like nowadays, whenever you're being attacked and you block something, if it somehow is around you and it does kind of make contact with your backside, you will take damage. And also Laggy, he has brought back technically underwater combat from Try 3. But it's not, I say Try 3, just Monster Hunter 3 or Monster Hunter Try. It's not like the initial underwater combat from that game. It's kind of more simplistic where you just dodge and then you use your grappling hook to hook onto them and then you do an attack. I mean, you can also stab them like how when you're mounted, so you're technically mounting it. So whenever you mount it, you stab him a couple times, but he does have a time where he'll get pretty much back to his back up and he'll do an attack or shake you off. So usually when you get on there, you just want to hit your right bumper to do your big attack, get off, so before he does anything. And it's not hard, but learning what dodge, because there's three different dodges. I think there's your normal A, X, whatever, to do a dash left or right. Then your right bumper goes up for a dodge, and then your right trigger goes down for a dodge. And just learning which dodge you need to do whenever his attacks happen is all you gotta do. And once you learn that, the fight for underwater is actually pretty easy and can kind of be pretty quick. Some people have made it to where they can negate that portion of the fight by doing enough damage and they kill Laggy before they even get there. But if you're not a speedrunner and you're going to be doing that, it's not a hard part. It's just learning what you need to do and identify the attack so you can dodge it with no issue. And of course, with the addition of Laggy and Steve comes new weapons and armors. Both their sets are actually really good, and they have pretty much made to where a lot of people have made all kinds of new builds. As of right now, it's being more streamlined. What is the better pieces? So, like me personally, I love a lot of Laggy's pieces. They have really good skills with max might and weakness exploit. Even if you do combine it with some of Steve's stuff, you can make some very powerful sets, especially for longsword. I feel like, but anything can really benefit from that, from both their sets. Now I will give credit. Uh, the one build I've been using the most of has been from Dear Gamer. I'm going to link him and the build in the description. And that build, it uses, I believe, four laggy pieces and then one Shoshia chess piece. And then he also used the counterattack charm, which I feel like no one really used at before this update. And because counterattack charm got a buff from Steve's parts, you can get to like level, I think, 3 of it just normally. So all you gotta do is find a way to get two extra gems on there, and you're got a 4 or 5. So you can have counterattack charm high up there now. To have with any build, really. I've seen people using other stuff as well. Laggy's full set bonus, or the 2 and the 4-piece bonus that gives you, is called Leviathan's Fury. The 2-piece just gives, the base part gives you increased infinity and can deal extra thunder damage upon the build-up. And then the 4 pretty much just gives you a lot more thunder damage and also increases the affinity time of which it's increased, because there is a time limit. And if once that Azura's Bolt, it's technically called Azura's Bolt, whenever it goes away, I think it has like a 30-second cooldown, something like that, to where it won't come back until that, and then the weapon will start again. Now also, the weapon for Laggy is also really good because it goes based off of your thunder resistance, and it has the ability to convert thunder resistance. And what it does, of course, what it sounds like, it converts your resistance to damage. So more thunder resistance you have, the more damage you'll do. And pretty much what I've been able to see is, if you don't want to use every piece for Laggy, just because it's not always most optimal to use just one armor set for it, you can always find a piece to sub out for something. So what most people are doing, of course, is adding Ray Dow, Gamma, and or maybe even his normal piece just to get the resistance in there still, so you can still have your max resistance for Thunder. Then once you add the 3 Thunder resistance into the build, you get based, I believe that is 33 resistance, and then if you do a grill a meal, I believe the resistance only gives you like +7, so you can get up to 40. But if you go to any of the villages to get a meal from them, and or from the hub to just to get a meal from the hub vouchers, you can get all the way up to 43. Yeah, 43. And that resistance gives you so much more damage. And really, if there's a monster that is weak to thunder damage, that's the best set to use. You're just gonna do so much damage and just murder it. Steve's armor set, aesthetically, it is gaudy looking. It looks really cool because it's a full gold plate armor. It does kind of limit it though if you don't really want gold and you would rather have other stuff, because the way Capcom has the color system, it's gold and then whatever color, and gold and whatever only goes with so many different colors. Like, so to make it layered is also kind of hard, but the bonuses from it gives you a Adrenaline Rush skill increase, which is actually good because that, I believe, is with the counterattack skill, which is become one of the go-to skills for DPS. And since it makes it where the attack is having up to 4 or up to 5 gives you 30 attack plus, and so all it does at the end of the day is just make it to where it lasts longer for whenever it procs. So that is fantastic. The weapon in itself, all the weapons aesthetically look really good as well. The weapon gets the ability Blade Scale Honing, which is normally when you narrowly evade a monster's attack, it'll then give you some kind of special thing on top of your sharpness that's pretty much extra damage. And believe it's really only like 4 or 5 hits that it stays on there for, and then it goes away until your next time you evade. So it is very much a skill that you want to use with either the mantle for evading and or if you have your max evade up, just so you can kind of like do it whenever the attacks have, you can evade very easily. I've tried it only on really one build with with a hammer, and it did fine. It's not something I'm probably going to really use. I haven't really seen very many builds use it. I've seen maybe like one or two, but most people I watch and kind of pay attention to don't really use it, which is a shame. But the pieces for the armors themselves are also really good, so at least we have that with Steve. Since we're also already a month into the update, we are currently in the Festival of Chord Flame Feet, however you say it. I'm not sure. I'm kind of dumb. The Grand Hub looks amazing. It's the tropical setting with the woodwoods everywhere. To me, it's just a great aesthetic looking area, and overall, just great. They've added a bunch of seasonal outfits for you and your handlers. So Eric, Alma, and Gemma all have their own seasonal outfits that are free during the festival time period, just like the one for Alma during the Blossom Dance, which that means I'm hoping next year Eric and Gemma will also get a new outfit, hopefully as well. But also, if you wanted to keep them year round, of course, a lot of people think it's coming. At the same time, I think it is too. But at the same time, I'm trying to support this game because I actually enjoy it. So I did purchase all 3 outfits. Even though I do think most people are only going to choose one outfit, which is going to be the one. We've also got our new Arch-Tempered monster in Utuna. This version of Duna the Tuna is no joke. It hits hard, and its hitbox is very wide for its attacks and will punish you. If you think you're close to it, you most definitely are. If you think you're far from it, you probably are still too close to it. You will get hit, and I have personally have taken damage from something I thought I shouldn't have because it was too far, and I've seen others die from things that they weren't close to, but somehow it just hit them. As of this week, we've gotten our timed attack quest, just like how we had with Ray Dow Arch-Tempered. I do feel like this one is easier than Ray Dow. Ray Dow, if you remember, had attacks whenever it would go across the landscape and would do extra lightning attacks, would follow it and proc like after like a second of the attack hitting the area. Duna doesn't really have that. She makes waves. So, and the waves don't damage you, they just push you. So it's more annoying than anything because, especially as a longsword, you'll do your foresight and then you're trying to do your 2 follow-ups to get your attack gauge to go to the next level, and you hit your first one, but you can't hit your second one, so you stay at the same level, which is a little annoying. And then just anything else, it pushes you, and sometimes it pushes you into her next attack, which is usually a swiping move. So it kind of, if you're not really paying attention, you'll get hit like that. Also, if you remember, Ray Dow, you had to finish under 14 minutes to get A rank. For some reason, Duna is only 13 minutes. So it's a minute shorter to get your... Actually, no, it's the other way around. Ray Dow was 13 minutes and Duna was 14 minutes. Is for A rank is 14 minutes. So that's... You have a whole extra minute to get A rank. And while practicing the previous week against Arch-Tempered Duna, the only time I finished higher than 14 was whenever I just made a lot of mistakes and took a lot of damage and died 2 times. but my fastest time I've beaten her. I'm not a speedrunner, so I just do what I need to. I finished it like I think 11 minutes, like under 11 minutes 30 seconds. And as of right now, I have beaten the timed attack the first time with Great Sword, which was just under 14 minutes. So I got my A rank, and then earlier today, before doing this recording, I was able to finish even faster at like 12 minutes 11 seconds, and I still didn't even do that perfect. I took still a lot of damage, and I think on my greatsword I died once, and so it's not as hard as the Ray Dow one. I kind of was hoping they would have actually made it 12 minutes because since it is a little bit easier fight, because with it being 14 minutes there's a little bit of pressure to get it done, but at the same time, it's just easier. So you will more than likely, as long as you play the fight pretty well and use the environments to get your extra damage from the boulders, you're going to not have a hard time. And if you use your traps, and also if your Palico is able to hit its traps, you will do fine. And it's not a hard A rank. I've been wondering if they did that just so, because maybe there's some data they showed that a lot of people couldn't finish it, so they're trying to, and since they're not doing the whole thing of the first X amount of people anymore because of cheaters who could get the time quest stuff, so maybe they're doing this, making it a little bit more relaxed so a lot of people can get it, and more casual people, because at the end of the day they're not trying to pander to one side of the crowd. They're trying to make it to where other people can enjoy it, even though they're not playing it every day, and they can probably still make it. And it's still challenging enough if they can at least put the time in to learn it. So overall, Holiday 2 for me has been a lot of fun. I love it. It's made me play the game every day again. I did take kind of a break at the before Talladega 2 because I feel like I've done everything, and there's really no other thing other than make my rank go up. I've gotten every achievement. I got all the crowns. So for me, the game is kind of at a standstill up until this point. And now it's just kind of doing the new quest to get all the new outfits and stuff like that. Just testing out builds. And that's kind of where we're at again. Like, the game, to me, has made good strides, and this update going into the festival has been really, really good. Now, of course, the big elephant in the room, I kind of mentioned it earlier, the biggest issue still is performance. A lot of the online discourse is still people are having a hard time with the game running stably. Now, me having a pretty beefy computer, and I've also seen other people who have good computers, we're not really suffering that much. In fact, to me, the game is running better. So I don't know if it's one of those things where it's depending on your hardware, it's just going to run better because it's meant for newer stuff. So if you are running something that's older, and maybe you're running something to where you're probably running if you're running something that probably shouldn't be at the resolution. So if you're running at 1440p, but you have older hardware and you probably should be running at 1080p, I'm not sure. Maybe that could be an issue. At the same time, really, games nowadays are just more demanding. Even I have a 4090, the games are still not running as good as they used to on that card, and it's a good card. So something does need to change. The stability needs to get better. It's the only thing that's really holding this game back. And they have shown on updates to come that that's still one of the things they're trying to address. I believe next month they're supposed to release something to help stability more, so we'll see how that goes. And hopefully we'll get even more stuff in September when Title Update 3 happens. But as of right now, all I can say is I'm having fun again with the game. It's been fun. Like, that's all I can say. And I hope everyone else is having good hunts, and I hope I can see you in the next one. Later.